Greetings, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of On That Note podcast. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Calvin. Welcome back to On That Note.
Man, how you doing?
I'm good. I had a good week. Better week. It's been interesting the last, but I'm sure you know that.
For sure.
Yeah.
For
How have you
sure.
been though?
I mean, I've been doing pretty well. To your point, though, it's definitely been like a rough go at it. It's in some ways, and in some other ways, it's been like I've been having like a really dope past few weeks. Like I was in Toronto for the first time recently. That was great for a number of reasons, which we can talk about offline. But it's also like end of the semester, and so I'm like really feeling it right now. I only have like 1 or 2 assignments due for like most of my classes, so it's like let's get them done.
Yeah.
But,
you will.
I mean, not to mention, thank you. I appreciate that vote of confidence. And not to mention, some of what we'll get into, just all of the stuff that's been happening.
Yes. Right.
Across the musical landscape, across the society.
For sure. Yeah.
It's been a lot of foolishness.
Yeah. Well, okay. Before we do that, let's do While You Were Sleeping.
Okay.
And you have one? I feel like I went last time. So
okay, I can go first. Yes, and I'm really excited because I have one that I already came into the show knowing that I was going to have this time. So, my While You Were Sleeping is... So, the song came out maybe about 10, 11 years ago.
Continue. I'm sorry. I was like, days. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This is gonna be that type of show.
Yeah.
Well, the song came out like 10, 11 years ago, and it is from a group that we all know and love. You know, they were a big hit back in the 90s. Let me bring that back. They had a big hit in the 90s, and that ain't even no shade, but
there's a difference.
It is, you know, and I'm here to keep the girls accountable. But that group is none other than Soul For Real.
Okay. Yeah, no.
And back in, again, it's like 2008, 2009, they put out a song called I Also Need to Walk Back, put out. I don't know if it like really came out as like a big single because back then I was just following a lot of music blogs, and so I have like all these like unreleased songs or like songs that just made it through the blogosphere but never actually made it out to the public. So like
there was a lot of that around that era. So
it was right because you know blogging was like still relatively new, so people would get like exclusives.
And before streaming services and stuff, it was like if you wanted to hear something like and even SoundCloud maybe, you know, it was like if you wanted to hear, like, I don't know, maybe things weren't as like tight as they are now with like streaming and like where you want to put your content and all that.
For sure.
Stuff. So
it wasn't
get that.
It wasn't artist directed yet. Like
artists,
you know
that's
what I'm
a
saying?
good word.
It was
that's
like let me get this exclusive or something like that and I'll drop it. But they put out this song called One Man, featuring Jadakiss, and I actually really love that song. And it's a really good song. Again, most of us know Soul For Real from Candy Rain and Every Little Thing I Do. Every little thing I do. And those are like big hits in like 95, back then. But, that was kind of it, unfortunately. And I was always like, there's some people that you're always curious about, but especially younger artists, because it's like, oh, I wonder what they're going to sound like when they get older.
Right.
And so that song answers the question. So I encourage you all to go look it up. One Man by Soul For Real featuring Jadakiss. And I think at the time it might have been only 3 of them because the one brother was in jail, which brings me to why I ended up picking this song, besides the fact that I like it. But Soul For Real has they've been making some news, a little bit of news the past week. They did a Breakfast Club interview recently. Yes. And the one brother that kept on bogarting the conversation was the one that was locked up. Which tracks. All makes sense on but it was just interesting to get to hear a little bit more about their story because they're a group that to this day, you put Candy Rain or Every Little Thing I Do on, people are gonna move. Like those are still bops. You hear them on the radio at least once a week.
Yeah, and there have been so many remakes of Candy Rain.
Not all of them. There should have been, but you know what I mean. So it's just kind of like cool to hear them talk about like their story a little bit, and the reason that I also kind of got onto Soul For Real again too. From the interview was I follow the lead singer or the youngest one on Instagram, and he had posted a clip of him listening to a Chris Brown song from off of Heartbreak on a Full Moon that like had Candy Rain like in the chorus. But at any rate, all that being said, Soul For Real featuring Jadakiss, One Man. Check it out.
Yeah. Well, that is definitely news to me. 11 years later, so I gotta check that out for sure. So my While You Were Sleeping person is Melly. Have you heard of Melly? She was on
an artist.
Yeah. Okay. She's like one of those like rap sing kind of type people.
Yes.
But she was on, I'm pretty sure she was on Meek Mill's album.
Yeah, she was.
Yes. She was on Meek Mill's album, and she has an album out now called Phases. And so I listened to the album. The album's really good. I like it a lot. I like her kind of style a lot. Again, just another woman that is getting into this game that was dominated by one woman for a very long time, and there's lots of opportunity for different styles, and I think she's like Afro-Latina or maybe just Latina or whatever.
Oh, nice.
So there's like, and even in her verse on Meek Mill's album, there's like some Spanish and some Spanglish, I guess if you want to call it that, like intermixed between, which is nice. So yeah, she's just really dope. There's a song on the album with Tory Lanez called Slow For Me, I think is the name of it, that I really like. So yeah. Okay. Just someone that a lot of people might not know about,
Right.
Deserves to get put on. So yeah.
So you ready to get into it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to now transition over to gossip, folks. I shouldn't like have my normal look of like gloom.
Yeah.
Because it's not as much bad stuff.
It's not.
Well,
I mean, yes.
We gotta. Should we start there?
Yeah, we can start there.
Actually. Okay. So, do you want to kick this off?
I can. Okay. So it's just very interesting because, while we were recording episode 4 last week,
2 weeks ago.
Or 2 weeks ago, right? Exactly. Like Nipsey Hussle was essentially, like, the whole situation with Nipsey Hussle was essentially happening while we were recording.
Yeah.
So I remember leaving here, going to the grocery store, and while I was in the grocery store, I got a text message like, oh my God, like, Nipsey's been shot like 6 times or something like that. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on? Like, do we know what's happening? All this other stuff. And I think everyone kind of had that, like, that was happening for everyone at the same time.
What?
Right. And so it was just like, what's going on? Is he okay? Are they taking him to the hospital? Like, all this other stuff. And then he ends up passing away. And so that was one of the reasons for me why the last couple weeks has just been kind of like really weird. And honestly kind of draining emotionally. So it's interesting because I'll be 100% honest. Yeah. I don't listen to a lot of Nipsey Hussle's music, not because I don't think that he's a good artist, but because that's just not an artist that I ever went to.
For sure.
With all of the music that's out right now, like, he just wasn't someone that I had gotten to yet, I guess, if that makes sense.
No, for sure.
So it's not even that I can really come from the aspect of like a really diehard fan, or just even a fan that has listened to his music, which there are so many of, because, from what I know, he was like a really good artist and all that other stuff. But that's not really where I guess I can pull from emotionally. But I think just more on a human level, the thing that really, really affected me about this whole situation was, so as the story starts to unfold about what was happening that day and like where he was and what was going on, so you find out, and this was at least the information that I got, like, so Nipsey had this like friend that was getting out of jail after being in jail for years and years, and he was excited to like get him fresh, essentially. You know, it's like you in jail, you're wearing the same thing every day for years, you know, and that's like just something that people want to do for you, you know, like kind of get you fresh, you know, like
get you back.
Exactly, right, because if you're gone for decades, it's like the whole everyone's style done changed. You can't, you know.
Okay, we are no longer wearing any chains.
Right. Averex jackets.
Period. Like, no. That has gone.
Right. So Nipsey, but he has a store out in LA in his old neighborhood in Crenshaw. That's his store. It's a clothing store, and so he went to go get him fresh, and like he was excited and he was rushing out. Like he didn't tell any of his security detail or anything like that. Like he just went, and that's like. It's just like terrible timing, you know, like
it's like that one time.
Yes,
it's like always that one time,
right? And so that part of it also just him being like a father. I think all of us who are of a certain age that remember ATL just have this weird kind of like attachment to Lauren London. I think she just feels like a play cousin for the community.
Like,
you know
like
what I'm saying? Like
girl.
Seriously. Like I just think that everyone just kind of feel, because Nunu was such a character for us. It's like, and she just kind of had this. So I was like feeling for her, and I was feeling for everyone that really knew him as an artist and as a person. I mean, he just seemed to be someone that was loved just across the community. And then the things that he was doing, you know, the fact that like he was working so hard to like change around the neighborhood that he grew up in, and like being a Crip and all that. It's like, it's just the story you never want to hear of like what would otherwise be a success story, you know? And so it's honestly just been very, very difficult for me to reconcile with that, just like from a fairness perspective, to be completely honest, and just kind of like feeling this bewilderment and like this sense of a really very real sense of loss and grief. And I think just kind of as a community we've been feeling that, and that's it's just an interesting thing about us, about the community, you know, because it's like if. You know, whoever the fuck you want, Clint Eastwood, you know, like, I mean, not as a community. There would be a few sprinkles here and there that would be sad, but like the way that we come together as a community, it's just very telling of like this idea of like linked fate and like just who we are as a people and have always been from like. Honestly, being in shackles and sent here, you know, it's just kind of always been that way. But
I mean, I was gonna say to that point. I mean, I think that to be Black in America, you always have to be aware of your own mortality, and so, but like once you get to certain places in your life or accomplish certain things, you know, in terms of like people around you, other people become less focused on the fact that you're immortal, right? And they become more focused on like the work that you're putting in, or like the accolades or the things that are coming about because of your efforts. But it was just kind of another reminder that like no, every day we have to be mindful of what we're doing, how we are creating a legacy, if we are creating a legacy, and you know, the need to be intentionally focused on that, because, you know, Nipsey Hussle is, a year or two older than me.
Right.
And, you know what I mean? Like, the fact that he was able to accomplish and do so much and to work in a way that not said that he knew his time would be brief, but he hustled. Like, he knew he wouldn't be able to hustle forever. And I think, like, the biggest thing to me in trying to wrap my head around it, and and I know some Nipsey Hussle songs. I won't say like I was, you know, a diehard fan.
Right.
Respected him, definitely saw his talent and respected how he moved as a businessman and as a community advocate.
Right.
But it just kind of reminded me of how whenever we have people in our communities that are doing good work, or whenever like the Black community is like advancing, it's like something that comes to and be like, like no. You know, and I'm thankful that that won't be the case here, because I think there's so many people that love and respect him, whether they were close to him or not, that I don't think that people are gonna allow the work that he was doing, the efforts he started, the conversations he started, to fall by the wayside. Yeah. But you know, they're definitely. I remember hearing someone on the news saying like, "This is a loss. Yes. Like this is a loss." And you do think about like, you know, without that person there, you know, how is everyone that was under their influence going to function and kind of like, will you lose people that you could have potentially have reached because that person as a figure is no longer there? You know, all very sad and just unfortunate, because it's just like, it's senseless. Yeah. It's senseless.
But I think also, I mean, from what I've been hearing, well, one, just the community support has been great. I mean, even like the LAPD, like the chief of the LAPD, which is insane. You know, when he got the call, he was like, "What? Like, are you sure?" Because he was like, again, like you said, one of the people in that community that was doing good, you know, not just trying to do good, but actually doing good. But so his memorial was this past week, and you could see, first of all, it was in the Staples Center. And you could just see, I think the tickets for it sold out in like 5 minutes or something like that. So it's like to sell at the Staples Center in 5 minutes. And from what I hear from people that were out there, it's just like there was this huge, just like celebration of him. And this also, this very intentional, because I didn't watch the whole memorial because I was at work, but I watched some clips like on Twitter and stuff, and you know, a lot of what people were saying, even the people closest to him, were just like keeping what he had going. Yeah. You know, like the marathon continues essentially is like the kind of mantra that's been going around, because it's just like, it's so important. And I think we understand. So some people that come to mind, to your point about like certain movements taking a few steps forward, you know, like the Black movement, and like feeling a loss. So him, obviously, I think Tupac is another one. I think MLK is like another one. But I think Malcolm X, but I think since really all three of the prior losses, we've like kind of evolved as a community, and like are able to, and part of it is emotional evolution. I think like you said, like we're just, it's like blow after blow after blow, so we have to learn how to deal with what is going, like we can no longer just be sad, you know. We have to move beyond mourning. Like we're sad every time this happens. What are we doing this time? You know. And I think that most of what I've seen is like this intentional dedication to the work that Nipsey had started. So that's reassuring.
No, that for sure. That definitely is. And you know, of course, continued prayers for the family and and for everybody that is like day to day will be impacted.
Right.
So,
and
it's just sad.
Yeah. So it's funny, and I'll just mention this briefly because you said you hadn't seen it yet. But so Guava Island, it's kind of like a short film, I guess, if you want to call it that, by Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, dropped yesterday, and it's on Amazon Prime, and I think they showed it at Coachella. But what I will say is it's just very interesting that came out when it did in regard to this. And anybody who has seen it or will see it after listening to the show and has thoughts about it, like, I kind of want to hear y'all's thoughts, because when I was watching it, you know, and we'll talk about it more in depth after you see it, I was just kind of like, wow. this is just kind of eerie and interesting, but we can wait for that.
Okay.
But make sure you see it.
I definitely will.
So also, I just love, like, hearing Rihanna's voice for a long time, for the first time in a while, I was just like, ugh. It's like a fresh sip of water. You know, it's just
somebody else was saying
so
that.
Refreshing, you know?
Like, oh, it was so good to hear Rihanna's voice.
Yeah.
Or maybe that was your tweet.
Yeah, I tweeted that. So, it was me. But yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
But
so I think, like, as we're like trying to pick the spirits back up, we can definitely shout out a legend who just had a major milestone birthday.
Okay.
This past week.
Yeah,
Babyface.
Yeah.
I think on the 11th. The 11th
okay.
was Thursday. Yeah.
Okay.
I want to say it was on the 11th. Babyface turned 60.
Yeah, which is, I did not realize he was that age.
I know, right? But then when you kind of think about it, not when you kind of, but when you think about it, Babyface has been around our entire lifetimes.
Yeah,
like,
no,
you know what I mean?
That's true.
He's never not been
right.
part of the musical landscape.
Right,
like, we didn't see Babyface when he blew up.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
He was a thing when we were born.
Yeah, that's so true.
So now with that being said, I'm curious.
Yes.
Some favorites by Babyface. Do you have a favorite Babyface song?
I can give you a favorite Babyface song easier than I can give you, like, songs that he was attached to, because they're just...
I know.
There's just too many. Just too many.
You don't have to choose, like, an absolute.
Yeah.
You could just be like, okay, like, he did this song, and I really, really like it.
So, I will give you, so the Babyface song that I would say is a favorite of mine is Give You My Heart with Tony Braxton.
Oh, nice. Boomerang soundtrack.
Yes.
I think that was our first introduction to Miss Braxton.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, that was, because that duet,
that. Wow. That's crazy. But yeah, I really like that song. Do you want me to give other...
I mean, if you feel so inclined.
He has so many. So
fair enough. I'm not just springing this on him.
Yeah, no, exactly. He asked me before,
there.
But it's just so many. There's just so many that he's done.
Well, as you think on that one, I'll say my favorite Babyface song. I really like Whip Appeal.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, that's just a. I like it.
Okay.
So whip it on.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, I'll say if we're just like popcorning it, you know, I'll say like my.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. So if I had to, I'll go with the song from that era too. Then.
Okay.
I actually really love Rocksteady.
You know it's so it was between those two. But since I did like a upbeat song for like his song, I did like a slower song. One, I didn't realize that he was involved in Rocksteady until today. When we were looking this up. But what like that I think that song goes like it just
like come on, and for the Whispers,
what?
The Whispers who'd have been out like 20 years by the time that song came out.
God!
And
like,
he had them sounding like they were fresh off the block.
It had the music, but they had
baby killing it.
Look! I feel like somebody's great uncle when I listen to that song. Yeah.
I get that song to going. You can't tell me
yes,
nothing.
Thank you, Babyface.
Appreciate you.
In short.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure though that he said that was like one of his first major like opportunities to work with like an established group, because a lot of the work that he and L.A. Reid did, especially in terms of LaFace, was breaking new artists.
Yeah.
But like working with the Whispers to do that song was like one of his first times working with like an established artist. Or like one of his first big successes working with an established artist.
Right now. LaFace.
You
L.A. Reid. Don't judge me. Please don't judge me. We can move on. We can move on.
No. I need to sit in this for a second. So my friend.
It's okay.
What did you think?
I wasn't even like, it's like artista. Like, I don't know what it is. But no, Arista, whatever. Yeah. We can move on. What I'm saying is. What I'm saying is. I don't really pay attention to the names of record labels, so I didn't put that much thought into it. So I just never thought about that, ever, is what it was. That's just all it was. Okay. I just never really thought about it.
And we all have things like that.
Like, it's not like I was like, I never took the time to say, like, LaFace, I wonder what that means. Like, I never asked myself that question. So that's, I think, maybe gives me a little bit more points, because I never, like, thought about it and didn't reach a conclusion. It was just something that, kind of sprung up on me.
Whatever makes you feel good. I'm going to support you either way. Wow. Okay, so you do know what Motown stands for, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't do that to me.
Just while we're here, I just want to make sure that we get all of the great mysteries of life solved.
Anyway, happy birthday, Babyface. We appreciate you.
Oh my God, that was awesome. Hey, what else is on our list?
Okay, so another announcement that came out this week.
Is that time
already? I mean, we can talk about, we have music. We can talk about music first if you want to save that.
We can do the music.
Okay. Do the music last.
Yeah.
Okay. So this week we got a little announcement from on high, and it said that we were deemed worthy of some one-on-one time with the one and only Beyonce Giselle Knowles-Carter. So on the 17th of April,
oh my Lord,
she will be visiting our homes and our hearts to fill us in on the genius behind her 2018 Coachella performance. So, fun fact, Coachella just happened this past weekend 1, which makes this the year anniversary of
Beachella.
Yeah, just a time in my life where I can look to what a moment, a time that is most pleasing to me. So yes. But, so she's coming out with a documentary about Beachella, about her performance, that comes out on April 17th. And it's on Netflix. It's called Homecoming.
Yes.
I am so ready.
Me too.
I'm so ready. I already felt like while it was happening, I was at Coachella last year. While it was happening.
And you were there the first weekend, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Right. So.
Live.
While it was happening, it was very much, I personally, and we might talk about this at a future date, I personally felt like it was like my performance, and we can talk about like why later.
Yes.
But like, I was watching it and I was just like, this is for me. Like, so.
This is mine.
Yeah, this is me. Like, seriously, and to be able to, one, like relive that, because I'm sure from what I read, like, there will be parts of the performance kind of interspersed between, which he typically does for documentary.
Yeah.
But just being able to hear her explain and talk and just see that. I'm also just like kind of a geek for stuff like that.
For sure.
Just like production and development and all that stuff, and the genius behind what makes something like that. So I'm ready.
I am too. My heart and my mind are ready. This is another reason why I'm glad I keep my Netflix subscription active, so that I don't have to scramble to, figure out
it's the only thing
watch it.
Well, like streaming service, video-wise, that I pay for myself. Like, I make sure that money is taken out of my account. Netflix is paid. Okay.
Yeah. Netflix been coming through with the come through.
Yeah.
And the girls have no excuse because there have been whispers of Beyonce doing a Netflix documentary for a minute now. Yeah. Mama is just, this is the new campaign for the next project because we done found out about this Adidas deal.
Yes.
She giving us homecoming.
We're stepping into the new era. We are.
B7.
Right.
We're ready.
Right.
So I'm excited additionally because potentially I will be seeing the documentary before it's released on Netflix.
Okay.
Okay, these are times where I really, 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 these are not the only times, but these are times where I love my school even more. Because they're going to be showing it. There's a viewing on Tuesday night.
Okay. So, that's what's up.
I'll be sure to report
back. Right.
But I will also be watching it again from the comfort of my home.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Because I need it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm super excited. I've been like waiting to see like what's coming next. And I really appreciate how Beyonce has been giving us whole packages. You know, for the past couple of years, like not just music, but like visuals and you know, finding out more about the, you know, behind the scenes. She's been doing that really probably since the I want to say I'm Sasha Fierce.
Okay, yeah.
Because when that album came out on iTunes, I remember like there was like a couple of videos that came with it where she was talking about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. Apparently it's supposed to be like 2 hours and 17 minutes. I just I need it. Like I need every single second of that. I'm so ready. She's always on time. Like she just always knows. She just knows.
She does.
And I thank her for it.
Thank you, Beyonce.
So we can get into some new music now.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
So let's start with talk about some of the singles.
Okay. Sure.
That have come out.
Yeah.
So I know. Actually, I just thought of one. But,
okay. No, go ahead. I started the Beyonce thing. So.
Okay. So we didn't write this down, but BJ the Chicago Kid.
Yes.
Have you heard his version of Close?
No. I don't think
Do you know the song Close? From
Close
May's album?
Oh, yeah. I know that song. Yeah.
BJ Chicago Kid has a version of it. Get into it.
Okay.
That's all I got to say about that.
All right.
Is unlike Jacqueese.
you know they're legit like beefing now? Like him and LMA?
The thing is the people who keep on trying to say that that boy's version of her song goes are just really like trolls. What type of ears do you have? Like ones that maybe, you know.
The thing is, I never had an issue with Jacquees before Jacquees decided he was the best thing ever. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have it. Like his music was good. Like I liked some of his songs a lot and his mixtapes, and I liked what he was able to do with samples. But
what y'all don't realize is that's actually shady. He's been able to do with samples. And covers and the like. Okay? Like he has made a career off of being a karaoke artist at this point.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, like there are a few,
but I'm saying like at this point because that
is why he is popular.
Right. Yeah. Like he decided to not put as much effort into his own stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So I don't know. I would just appreciate if he went back to original music and maybe laid off the runs a bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just like stop performing this woman stuff. And it wouldn't have been an issue if he would have just did a little cover of it, but he rushed to put out a video. Right. Now
performing it like on tours and stuff. Like you're trying to get and DJ Mustard, who, you know, like is like the curator of like her sound essentially.
Yeah.
Has, you know, I don't know if it was an actual lawsuit or like a cease and desist or something like that, but was like, yeah, no, you're not gonna profit off of this song because this is what is it, 10 Summers that is you know, like essentially the property of 10 Summers, and you're not gonna profit off of our shit.
Nigga.
Right. Right.
That's just a mess.
Right. But some other singles came out that were really, really good. So Little came out this weekend. And I saw it yesterday. I think you said you're going to see it today.
Yeah,
I really would
I'm
encourage
see it tonight.
you to go see it. Yeah. Okay. Because it's good and it's funny and I like it a lot. And also just supporting, Marseille and Issa and everybody.
And Regina Hall.
Yes.
Give her flowers.
Yes.
Regina Hall been in it for a minute.
No, seriously, she has.
And the girls ain't really gave her just due like she deserves.
Right. Her both of the Reginas, honestly. Like...
Now, if I love me somebody, I love me Regina as well.
Yeah.
If you're Regina, if your name is Regina.
Right. You a bad bitch.
Period.
See Miss George.
Okay. And let's not forget about Regina Bell either.
Yes.
Okay. Period.
But yeah, so actually Chloe and Halle have a song on the soundtrack. Ooh. And it's like honestly different. It's a different sound for them, but it works, and I'm glad because it's a really, really good song. It's called "Be Yourself."
Yeah.
And we said this about them before, but like they are definitely a part of that like conglomerate of kids that are gonna be all right. Like I think about them. I think about Marseille. Yes. I think about like Zendaya, Yara, right? And I'm like, you know what?
The Obama girls.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Man,
we don't get Malia from around them white folks.
Men. Maybe Trevor Jackson.
Oh,
they're all women.
Oh, they are.
Yikes.
Well, we usually that tracks like.
But no, cause and I can't think of his actual name, but Junior is pretty dope from Blackish.
I was about to say Junior Kyle.
No. Dre Jr.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
What is his name? Marcus or something? I want to say his name.
Yeah, Marcus Scribner.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's pretty dope too.
Yeah, he is. He is. Oh, King Combs, how old is he? Does he qualify? Is he like 21? I think he's
a little, yeah.
A
little.
Diggy?
Maybe
he about...
Yeah. But all of them are
yeah, they all straight.
Yeah, they good. They good.
They good.
But yeah, so the Chloe and Halle song it's like very appropriate for the soundtrack, but then it's like, because I played it for you earlier, I like it a whole lot.
That song goes.
It goes, yeah, and it's like because they're really good at like what they do, but to hear them on an up-tempo song sounding as good as they sound and all that other stuff, I would love to hear some like more of that from them.
Oh, for sure. And like that was something we definitely talked about when we were listening to it. Like the moment the song started, I was just like, excuse me?
Exactly.
No, I'm here for it, y'all. If you have not heard that joint, Chloe and Halle, Be Yourself from the Little soundtrack, it goes.
And also, what a great message.
They're talented.
Yes.
They're just super talented.
Yes.
Super talented.
This past week, I was listening to their Grammy performance when they were doing Where's the Love.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was I remember something.
Yeah, but I was listening to that on YouTube, and like they're just great. They're just great.
They are.
Yeah. But then another single that came out, and there's a music video for this, is Chris Brown's new single. So, Back to Love. So, what do I want to say first? I think, so one, the music video is really, Chris is just, he's a very creative young man. He just is. Yeah. Like, he has one of those, like, really genius level intellects when it comes to artistry. That works really well for him, and he's able to kind of, like, create just kind of something that feels uniquely like him. So what I'm thinking about is the music video and how it's, like, without really telling a linear story, it follows the lead up, which was undecided. Yeah, like there are lots of similar visual things, like the really large like full moon that he has in the videos, and like I don't know, it's like the glowing lights and stuff that he'll have in his videos. They produce I don't know, this like kind of, I don't know. It works. It's essentially just like a story that's being told without it having to be a narrative story. You know, it just tracks. Right. And so the song is called Back to Love. I like it a lot. It kind of has like a Afro beats kind of thing. He has like kids like dancing in the video, which are super cute. But then the message is also really good. I noticed that, so one, the message is like a step in the right direction for Chris. Yes. Because it seems very much like reflective, like these are the things I used to do. You showed me how to not do those things. Mm-hmm. You know, you've got me back to love is essentially what he says. But then if you look at him in the video, like his eyes kind of look clear, you know, like he seems like aware of like what is happening.
Thank you for you. Can I step in the middle right now? Yeah. Because I'm gonna tell you, I wrote down literally as I was watching that video, I'm happy that Chris Brown looks and sounds happy again. Right. Like one thing that you can never deny with Chris Brown, I think this is what you were getting at when you said genius level intellect in terms of like creating. Chris Brown is an artist. Like he makes music because he loves making music. Right. Like I mean,
and he's good at it too.
You can tell like he's not lazy. I think he gets a little lazy with the subject matter at times. Right. But in terms of actually like, you know, being in the studio, being consistent. Still like he is one of the most consistent artists that has debuted in the last 15, 20 years even. But you know, I think that like for a while there was almost like a hollowness, or you just felt like he was making music to make it. Again, like I think he really enjoys it, but it just I don't know. Like there's a right. It's just like we need. It's like Chris, we know you can't put. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. We know that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like, but every song don't need to be about that. Yes. And watching that video, I was just like really thinking back to videos like Yo, or videos like off of exclusive.
Wall to Wall is another good one.
It kind of reminds me of With You.
Yes,
it
does.
Like the look. But it's really good to see him like happy again and making good songs, and I'm really excited to see what this next project sounds like. Right.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure. I mean, I would assume the song is about royalty. Now, given that he's not. I don't think he's dating anyone seriously right now that I can think of.
We never know, honestly. I just assume when I don't hear anything about Chris Brown that he's in a good place.
Yeah, right, exactly. But like, so the lyrics of the song just lend themselves to, it basically is about someone that has brought him back to love. And it just seems like, given like the kids that are dancing in the video, given like, it kind of seems like a song that like kids would enjoy. I'm pretty sure he wrote that for her, which is great. Like, the thing about Chris Brown is he is not that old, you know, like he's gonna be 30 on the 5th of May. So like he has time essentially to like redirect, you know, like he has so much time left in his career and he's been around for a while, but like he's still very young, he's still dancing, he's still like,
and maybe that's what it is, you know, maybe it's the fact that how most of us feel about our 20s, Chris Brown has put on display musically and just in living.
But like in spades. Like I think that you know, Chris, you know, I mean he's 29. Like, and before that he was 28 and he was 27. Like so like kind of like what you were saying, like he was just very much a 20-year-old has been
in the wild. Like, because I mean most people, myself included, a lot of times I look back and I'm like, how did I make it? Like I was just like out here just living, you know what I mean? And like that's not to say like I didn't, you know, do things like, you know, you work, you know, you
but even school, I was gonna say maybe, but like you, like your version of like out there is like getting 2 degrees and like going for a third, you know what I'm saying? Like working for, like never being too long without employment. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to my knowledge, you're not on any hard drugs. So it's just like, right. Like, so it's just like, Chris Brown, you are not.
No,
so it's like,
absolutely not.
I definitely get that. Like, but yeah, I mean, we all have a relative version of like what out there is for us.
And I mean, and maybe just, I'm thinking more so the mentality, right?
Oh,
that's on
okay,
display.
sure,
like,
sure.
You make a lot of decisions and you do a lot of shit in your 20s that you don't even like really think about until later on. Like, damn, why did I do that?
Yeah.
Well, why did I make that decision? Why did I choose to go that route?
Yeah.
And but all of our lives are on display for everybody. And I think like what he has done is put on display musically, like that duality almost of existence in your 20s, where it's like, okay, I'm not a teenager no more, and I'm like entering my independence, so I need to be making smart decisions. There's a really reckless side of me as well, because I'm not too old for in most cases, for the consequences to really come back on me yet. But I do think that your point is well taken about him being on the cusp of 30, and like maybe is that why we're seeing like a bit of a shift in focus. Even musically, if not also, as a reflection of where he is in his personal life.
I would be willing to actively support a Chris Brown that, like, does some work to improve himself emotionally, mentally, and really takes a turn for the better. I would root for and advocate for that situation, and then once he is there, like, be a fan.
Absolutely.
Because I think, and we've talked about this before, I think we talked about this last episode, the idea of like when to forgive or when to like essentially not give someone shit for their past.
We can.
And the thing about Chris is like I've given him a lot of shit. Like I just haven't for a long time.
He earned it.
Yeah. I just haven't fucked with him for a really long time, but that's just because I didn't see myself in him or the way that he chose to behave himself. Right. So, like, but, I think that this is a turn in the right direction.
I hope so. I really do.
If he is able to consistently make some good music and put out some, because that's the other thing about Chris, like, he's kind of in and out. But then also, I think I would not be surprised if he has been blacklisted from a few things. I'm not sure if he'll ever perform at a Coachella. I'm not sure if he'll ever be at some of these big things like the Grammys or things like that. And that can affect your career when you've been blacklisted in that way.
It can.
I just think that people just aren't... He's just someone that consistently was fucking up, and for that reason, people just didn't want to deal with him.
So I will say this, I think that that's where the beauty of age works in his favor.
Yeah.
Because, as you said, him being... He gets this right.
Yeah.
And, really the music is strong. The music is reflective of the growth and just public persona and how he carries himself. He really could find himself at those tables that he was once very much so excluded from, or in a lot of it by his own personal choices. Because you think about certain people that are industry darlings now, or that sit at certain tables now, that at one point in their career they wouldn't have been that. Like, let's talk about perfect example, Mary J. Blige.
Okay.
Mary J. Blige, if she would have kept on the path she was on, that was self-destructive, where she was making good music, but she was hard to deal with.
You said she was cussing people out at her shows.
Okay, cussing people out the shows. Like, journalists, found her hard to deal with in interviews, stuff like that. You wouldn't have a Mary J. Blige now, who is, been nominated for Academy Awards, like, being, a serious actress, a singer. Like
a featured noteworthy artist on That Note podcast.
Okay. Hello, the pinnacle of success. but legit though, so I want to believe that Chris Brown, by virtue of his output and his dedication to making music, that he will be able to right that ship.
I think you're right.
It will. His journey, of course, is gonna look a lot differently than it would have. But at the end of the day, we all love a redemption story.
Yeah.
And Chris Brown, if no one else, has what it takes to be one of the biggest redemption stories in music.
Seriously. Well, good luck to you.
Yeah.
So
Keep
I think
up, Chris.
The last thing musically we wanted to talk about, I'm gonna defer to you.
Yes.
Because I have not listened to the whole thing yet.
Yes.
But you have, and you like it a lot, and I like what I've heard. So.
I do. Okay. So. You know what? Never mind. I know where I can put that.
Okay.
Okay. So yes, what Calvin is referring to is none other than Anderson .Paak's latest musical masterpiece, and I say latest because it's not his first.
Right. Won't be his last.
Period. Ventura, which is the runtime is considerably shorter than Oxnard, and even Malibu for that matter. But he packed a lot of punch into those 12 or 13 songs on this album. I think the runtime is maybe only around 40 minutes as well, but it's just really soulful. It's so soulful, and it's the best of what. If I went through every Anderson .Paak project and picked the songs I like the most, this album is a reflection of those songs, and I think that is just, that's mind blowing in a sense. And I was reading a little bit of what they were saying about it, and he actually said that he sees, because he was recording this as he was recording Oxnard, and he says that he sees those two albums as bookends on the same journey.
Okay.
Which is pretty dope, because I was one of the, came to find out, few people that liked Oxnard. But I will say that in terms of flow and in terms of just musical, a project you can listen to from start to finish, there are no skip tracks on this album.
Yeah.
Which on Oxnard, there are a couple of songs I could. Okay, next. Not because they were bad, but just because, again, the album also runs long.
Yeah.
But all that to say, no skip tracks, soulful, Paak at its peak, and really, really, really has me excited about just the long game with him.
Oh, yeah.
He is a solid artist, solid musician, solid vocalist, solid. He can flow. Producer, writer, he has it.
I need to get more invested, or I don't even know what it is that I need to do. I think that I think about artists like Anderson .Paak, and I think about that Masego album that I talked about before, and that. I should be listening to more music like that more often. I think
I feel
just, you know what I'm saying?
I
think sometimes I get stuck in musical ruts and I just listen to who I know or the popular stuff and all this other stuff. Where it's I could listen to an album like this and really, really enjoy it, but then still go back to the stuff that I'm used to listening to.
Exactly. And
I just feel like I need to switch it up a little bit. So I'll probably do that with this one, because from what we were listening earlier, and I liked it a lot.
Yes. And there's no wasted feature on here.
Yes.
Either. No wasted feature.
Yeah.
I knew when I saw 3 stacks up there.
On the first track.
And so I'm pretty sure I said it on the show.
Yes.
I know I've said it in conversation, and I say it to a lot of people. The way an album starts sets the tone for how you're going to listen to the rest of the project. So your first track, the first thing that people hear has got to be strong.
So what I think about is it's also really difficult to have, or I guess it's more of a showing of real talent when your first track can actually be a track and doesn't need to. So I think of sometimes the intro, a lot of artists will have an intro track where either they're talking Or
it's interesting,
right? Or they're like it's like a little interlude, maybe musically or whatever. I think of that as like the running start, and for someone to not need that, and just kind of like take off running is a show of really good talent. Not to say that an intro track means that you don't know what you're doing.
I mean, because
very much
an intro track has purpose.
Yes.
An intro track, intro has purpose.
Right.
Again, it's gonna set the tone for that album.
Right.
So now, if you need to set it up and like the album is, a linear story or you're telling a story, and this is gonna come back up, it makes sense.
Right.
Because I think about an album like in times like this is where I miss our old setup. Because I would look back and just point to a hardcore, but I think about like the intro in A minor, like. That's setting you up for what's to come. Yeah. So an intro track could have purpose, but I think to your point too, when you come in and it's that first song, it's just like, oh, okay. Right. But yeah, that intro and that last track, that really it sets the stage for how people listen to your album and how people remember the album.
I mean, it's just even in conversation, people will typically remember the first thing you say and the last thing that you say.
Right.
So it makes sense.
Yeah. Either way, whether you come at it from track 1 or track the last one, Ventura is dope.
Really, really good.
So many good songs, and the few I jotted down were "Come Home" with Andre 3000, "Reaching Too Much" with Layla Hathaway. I would have loved to have heard even more of her on there.
Yes.
But she's amazing. And "Good Heels" with Jasmine Sullivan, which can do no wrong. And then the last track with Nate Dogg is very interesting too. It's in the same kind of way that because I was thinking about the end of To Pimp a Butterfly, but Kendrick sets it up like an interview with Tupac and not a song. But so that's interesting. So check out that check that project out.
Yeah. So yeah, did you what are we doing now?
So let's transition because I have another artist and project I want to talk about.
Okay.
But I think I'm gonna put that in my run that back.
Okay. Cool. So we have some questions, I think.
Yeah. So we're gonna switch it up a little bit this week. Yeah. You want me to? I'll introduce this.
Sure. Go for it.
So this week we're gonna instead of doing notes from the audience, we came up with some notes for each other, and so we don't know what we're about to ask for. But a piece of feedback that we did get in our survey was people wanted to know more about us, and more about our likes and dislikes, and I think we share some of that when we're talking about projects. But I do think that the more the audience is able to connect with the hosts, people that listen to or watching, the better. Okay. So I feel it. So this week we decided that we put each other on the hot seat.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah. So I'll ask you my first question. You ask me your first question, and then second.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So my first question for you. Okay. So in the way that we frame these questions, let me know if you didn't do it. I know that I think we did. Okay.
I think I did.
So one of the questions is going to be like related to our experience with the show.
Yes.
And then the other question is just going to be a general kind of like musical taste, things like that.
Right.
So my first question is the one that's related to the show.
Okay.
What musical act or project has your respect grown for in the process of doing this show?
Thinking back. I'll say Mary.
Okay.
I'll say Mary. Yeah. Because I always really enjoyed her. But it was more so I think, and we kind of talked about this when we were talking about her. I think Share My World started that for me. Mm-hmm. So anything I knew before Share My World was on a single by single basis. Mm-hmm. And then it was honestly us going through Mary in that album, and then we kind of did a little bit of like the here or the then to now. This made me really fully appreciate sometimes when you take a step back, like, and actually see how far a person has come.
For sure.
You know, like, it really makes you appreciate who they are now and like who they've been. So yeah, I would say that. Are we answering our own questions?
Would you like us to?
If you have someone.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a really... And I tried to think about that as I was writing these questions, but clearly... Okay, so let me take a dial back.
Oh. Sorry. No, I'm thinking about someone who, and you can keep thinking while I talk.
Okay.
But I think maybe the most obvious answer for me for that would, if we were talking about someone that like we hadn't, like we didn't talk about in a noteworthy segment, whether it was just like a run that back or while you were sleeping or something, would be Tone Step. But like exponentially, I appreciate. Like I discovered him by way of preparing for the show, and through that, like
it just
that's all she wrote. Yeah,
but so my answer is actually a little bit more contemporary.
Okay.
And this is really interesting because I don't know that I would have had this answer otherwise from doing the show. I would say the Migos.
Okay, yeah. No,
because when we did that episode, the Hustle and Flows, with looking at them, Outkast and T.I., it kind of made me feel like, whoa, like the Migos could have very much so been like another kind of like niche, you know, hip hop group, rap group, from like the early 2010s or like the mid 2010s, I guess.
Yeah.
And we could not be listening to them right now.
Right.
But, you know, to think about the fact that they have parlayed their success into now they're launching other acts and really kind of being attached to, you know, like the fact that Quavo and Offset were attached to the Everything Is Love project.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or that they're like, you know, Cardi and the relations there, or like, you know, putting on like QC and seeing how that has come up. So I definitely think that you would be missing a broad, I don't know if it's a broad spectrum, but you would be missing a very
specific, I think, maybe. Or
specific, there's a word I'm going for, and it's escaping me. But if you talk about rap or hip hop right now, you can't do it without not mentioning the Migos.
Like a huge chunk, essentially.
Yeah, like you'd be missing a piece. You'd be overlooking.
Yes.
A piece. So.
Yeah, I see that. Okay. Now, my first question for you.
All right.
If you were to choose either of our While You Were Sleeping people to be a guest on the show,
oh my god,
who would it be?
Oh my gosh. Now I gotta think back. Oh my god, we've had so many While You Were Sleeping.
I know.
Oh my god. Shoot. Oh my god. That reminds me. Yeah, I'm thinking about something else that we should probably do.
Okay.
That may make this a little easier in the future.
Yeah.
Any of our While You Were Sleeping. It's like the issue is that I can remember certain ones of yours.
Yeah.
And I can remember certain ones
but
of
I mean,
mine.
just the ones that you can think of.
Who's your While You Were Sleeping for last episode?
Sammy.
That's funny because I can't remember my wife.
It was Angelica.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
You've done Ari Lennox at one point.
I did.
She lives in, or is from DC.
She is. She is. Okay. Okay, actually,
yeah.
I would go with I would go with the lead singer from Soul For Real.
Okay.
Which is because so me and two of my friends were watching the Breakfast Club interview with them, and I felt like he probably has the most to say or could really tell the story in a more succinct way or give more insight. But the one brother just kept on over talking him, and I feel like the Breakfast Club, as much as we love their antics, they are not journalists or like they don't really.
Do we love their antics?
At any rate, I feel like they could have directed that interview a bit more to get more of the story, and so I would be curious to know more about their story and just more about kind of some of the direction that maybe they could have went in or that they didn't. Like I would have questions.
Okay.
That I would want to have answered. Now, who would you?
Tunstep.
Just
yeah, I think since I didn't use him for the first question, that would be where I would place him. I want to know like who some of his big influences are, like kind of how he got started musically, because he's not that old. He's maybe like 23 or 24. But like because he plays a lot of different instruments too. Okay. So just like what his musical background is or was, whether or not he's attached to perhaps maybe, because that's typically how it works, some if his uncle knows some producer, whatever, something like that.
Exactly.
So I would just be I'm interested in him as an artist.
I'm like sitting here because I'm really like I was like, dang, maybe I posted some of the while you were sleeping.
It's okay. We're gonna go with what you got.
Yeah, we'll go with that. I do like Ari Lennox though too, for the reason that you said in terms of her being from the DMV and being out there. So
yeah,
I'll take her.
All right. So
my second question.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so this is a two-parter.
Okay.
So prepare yourself.
Okay.
First part. Name one artist that you tried to get into but just couldn't for one reason or another.
So I'm answering them in turn.
Or do you want me to?
No. I can try to answer that. Someone that I tried to get into, but just couldn't. That's so interesting. Oh my god. An artist. I honestly don't know. Maybe, can I give an album?
Okay, I'll allow it.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is interesting for reasons that will be explained later. But, so Khalid's first album, American Spirit, I listened to it once and I was done.
Honestly, he probably could have been my answer for that question, for real.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, we'll get to him a little bit later on. Maybe not in this episode, but maybe the next.
Okay.
But I'll do that. So what's the second part of the?
Second part is name one artist from the past whose discography you want to delve more into.
Okay, so like someone that's not contemporary. Is that what you're saying? There are a few that come to mind. I'll go with Marvin Gaye. Like, I can't say that I've really ever listened to a whole album from him.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll make you a list.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I got you.
Mm-hmm. And I love him and I love his voice. But I just haven't.
Oh, Marvin got albums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got you.
So are you,
do you want me to answer both, or is there one that you want to hear my answer to more than the other?
Yeah, let's do the messy one. So the artist that you tried to get into, but you were just like, no thanks.
How did I know you were? There's a couple of people coming to mind.
Okay. Nao? Okay.
N-A-O?
It's spelled N-A-O?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Her voice,
okay.
like, it's the pitching, I can't.
Okay.
Normani.
Oh no! Okay, so it's so funny because I was supposed to say this with Be Yourself by Chloe and Halle. Like that song, so like Chloe and Halle typically do kind of like the slower down, kind of more soulful type things.
Yeah.
But this is like a Be Yourself is an upbeat song, and what I was thinking when I heard it was like, I need this from Normani. Like, I need this type of thing from Normani. I have say what you need to say.
No,
because I have some thoughts.
I mean, for somebody that people try to continue to say is the second coming of Beyonce.
Well, I don't know if anyone has said that.
I feel like a lot of people were trying to put that on her, much in the same way that they were trying to do with Rita Ora and Rihanna, and we see how that turned out.
Again,
who would also be on my list?
Yeah,
no shade.
Yeah,
but
shade.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just think that, and so Normani to a lesser extent, because she hasn't put out a full album yet, right? So I won't give her too much in terms of like she ain't got it. I would just say that I would have thought that they would have. Okay. Even if people weren't all heralding her as the second coming of Beyonce, even though a lot of people have said that.
Okay.
At the very least, from the beginning of Fifth Harmony, everybody has identified that she will probably be a solo artist at some point.
Right.
That's always been a part of her narrative.
And people were wondering whether or not she would be the Beyonce of that group.
Right. I'm shocked that her people did not handle that well, or better. You know what I'm saying? I think that when you know that you're going to do something, you usually try to set yourself up for it.
To that point, this is kind of a more general point about the industries.
Mm-hmm.
I think people in the industry don't have as much of a ear to the ground as they should.
Probably.
That's like music. Yeah, that's like music industry. That's movies. It's just like, for whatever reason, you don't know what the people want, and that's kind of like, Sierra. I think Sierra has that issue, and we were talking about that. Like, how do you not know what your fans want from you?
And it's it's much easier now than ever because of social media.
And even if you don't do it yourself, it is nothing for someone with that amount of, star power or money. Just hire 3 to 5 interns to go through your social media and determine what people are saying. Yeah. It's not like that's not that hard.
It's not a great mistake.
It's like, I think the thing with Normani is like her register is very low, which can be like counterintuitive to a lot of the things that she is trying to do with her career, because it's like, when you think of women with low registers, you think of an Anita, you think of a Toni, you think of like,
it's more
that
of an R&B voice.
It's more of a R&B
and
more
voice.
And yes. but not to say, because pop can be anything. Like, she could honestly be a pop artist and just come out with R&B albums and it would still be pop because it's Normani and she's a pop artist. The same way that Drake releases pop albums even though they're rap albums. You know? I'm just saying that pop isn't really a genre. Like, pop...
But pop format at radio is. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, pop...
Yeah.
Like, pop... There's still such a thing as pop radio where...
But I think that that's based more so on the artist than the sound of what they're producing. Because there's so many artists that do so many different things that are all considered pop.
I mean, it's a mixture of both because... It's funny because I was having this conversation with a couple of friends a couple of years ago, where I was saying you can be an artist that, you know, is rooted in another genre but be considered a pop artist because you are popular.
Right.
Like, that's a piece of it.
Right.
But there's also pop music where there's certain, you know, RPM. You
know,
there's a, you know, certain song length. Like, you're not gonna find 5-minute pop songs typically. You know what I'm saying?
At least not on the pop charts. Because all of Beyonce's albums are pop albums right now, right? Are they not?
I don't think so.
No, on, like, literally the genre. Like, I think under Lemonade, it says pop. Like...
Oh, I definitely wouldn't have done that. I don't know, though. I
think so.
I think after 4, I feel like they weren't considering her pop no more.
I thought... It's funny because before... In my mind, we can just go back and look at it. But I think that, because, like, Me, Myself, and... Or, not Me, Myself, and Now, that's a single on the album Dangerously in Love. Dangerously in Love is in the R&B soul genre. I think that even B-Day is still in the R&B soul genre. I'm not talking about my personal... I'm talking about literally what it says on iTunes. But I think that self-titled is pop. I think, like, the genre says pop. I think that for Lemonade, the genre says pop. I think that... That's what I'm saying. Like, for people... So for some people... they just, like, really anything that they do because of who they are is just like, right, exactly. But I don't know.
Maybe that's for some people, yeah. That's a whole other conversation we can
with Normani, because the thing that she's doing is, like, also making herself out to be, like, a full-out entertainer. So, like, with dancing and choreo and, like, all this, a stage presence that, like, for someone with her low register, it is very, very difficult to be, because it's not like Anita or Tony or anybody was giving you, like, a whole bunch of choreo in their performances. Yeah. They were just singing, you know?
Facts.
And then for her to have such a low register, it's not so silky and smooth that, like, you just want to sit around and listen to her sing, to be completely honest. I like Normani a lot. I think I liked more so, and this is to your point, I think that you're right, the potential of what she could be, but nothing so far has said to me that, like, that is where she's going to end up, unfortunately. Hopefully I'm surprised.
Yeah.
But, like, really, Love Lies was maybe one of the best things that she's done to date.
And I like that song with Black Waves.
Right. And yeah, but, like...
That was it.
And I need her to get better writing, too. Because, like, she still has that Fifth Harmony, like, A, B, A, A, B, B, like, type of writing. Where it's just, like, very, like, the first verse says this. And then the second verse says the first part of the first. Like, it's just, like, it's like very simple. Scheme. Yeah, it's very simple writing. And I don't think it's creative at all. But I just want her to do better. Okay. My next question for you. Who in your life would you consider your musical soulmate?
Who in my life would I consider to be my musical soulmate? That is a hell of a question. Oh my gosh, that is a question.
So, some thought behind this while you're thinking.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
Just more, so, I think, like, what I'm thinking about is just, like, kind of artist for artist, album for album. Like, a person that, like, essentially has, like, the person who has the most similar taste in music to you.
That is a really good question. Cause I'm like thinking through like different parts of my life.
Yeah.
Well,
pick an era and a person.
Oh my.
Okay. That might make it a little easier.
That might. Not by much. I mean, so I'm thinking about. I'm also reflecting on who I've had the most concert experiences with.
Okay.
Right? And that would probably be Brandon.
Okay.
My best friend Brandon.
Yeah.
What up, BG? I mean, because I just think about, for the most part, like, there haven't been very many shows that it's like, okay, we want to go to this. Okay, let's go to this.
Mm-hmm.
Him, I think if I'm thinking more like contemporarily, people I've met like in the like most recent like couple of years, I definitely think about like the musical conversations I've had with Ashley Daniels.
Yeah.
I said my sister's whole name. But Ash Dan, you all have
that helps.
Yeah. And I think about Gabby because and I would say Evangeline too, because we have like sit and like had some conversations. I mean, you obviously.
Well, yeah, no, like, right, no, I was. It's not like I was waiting.
No, right, but I just felt like you were an obvious
right,
answer.
exactly.
Like, for the people at home, like, yes, of course,
right,
like, that's understood.
Right.
But like, I think about those folks, and well, also because I haven't met you recently, but like, I think about those folks because I'm thinking about the conversations we've had about music and either the things that like I thought were obscure that other people didn't know that they also knew, and then the people that like we've put each other on to, stuff like that. So I'm gonna go with that.
Okay. Yeah.
That was a really good question.
Thank you.
Yes, who's yours?
I will. And now that I'll try to answer it the way that you answered it. Mm-hmm. So I think like, well, so the first thing you said was something about like people that you go to concerts with the most. That person, for me, the person I've gone to the most concerts with is my best friend Daniel. Mm-hmm. But I also know like we aren't super evenly matched when it comes to music. Like we like a lot of the same people. Yeah. But there's a diversion there. Mm-hmm. And then my, I guess, BG-esque answer would be my sister. So, hey Bev. We just had a very musical upbringing that we both remember very well. For sure. And so it makes it so that like a lot of our inside jokes end up being like music based, or we can just like start singing a song, you know, like there may be like a random song that like nobody remembers or like was from a movie or like some random part of whatever, you know. Yeah. And so like in that way, too, I think that works. But then more recently, and like you said, well, I had the urge to say you too, because I think because more recently we've been doing this. Right. But so my friend Paul actually, like, so he's actually the person that put me onto Tone Stiff. Okay. So like, it was a thing of him, like our taste being so similar that like him knowing that I would like that artist before I even listened to that artist. And then, like, since then, I mean, just, like, kind of the same thing. Like, we just know a lot of the same music, even from the past. Like, right now, there will be an exchange of, you know, like, artists if they drop or singles if they drop and things like that. So, yeah. I'll say that. Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
Well...
I know, right?
Yeah. That was fun.
It was.
Yeah, that was fun.
So I think we'll do that more.
We'll probably do that more. Yeah, and y'all let us know if you all enjoyed that as much as we did.
And don't forget that if you have questions that you want us to be answering instead, you can always write us a note at gmail.com. Mm-hmm. See what I did there? The email address is write us a note at gmail.com.
And you can also write us a note at gmail.com.
So we'll look forward to that.
Yeah.
And for people, because I also realized that some people may not know, like, if I want a note to appear on an episode, when should I probably get that note in?
Oh, that's true.
We record on Sundays.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. So just sometime during the week, it would be nice, you know? Like,
and honestly, even if you don't forget, if you forget, like, the email address, you can access it on both the IG page if you just put email, like, click the email button, I think, and then on the Facebook page, there's an email button too. And they'll set it up to go right to our email account. Yeah. Or you can message us on one of those platforms. We do. You know, don't be putting nothing crazy in there. Unless it's...
Wow. So do we have anything else before we wrap up the first part?
Do we want to give a clue for what's coming next?
Yeah, let's do that. Do you have something in mind for a clue?
I'm trying to think. Okay, I'll offer this.
Sure.
The next noteworthy segment will feature 2 projects. So it'll be 2 albums that we'll be discussing.
Yes. And
they are both debut albums from classic, or artists that will now be considered like classic or
right.
You know, iconic legacy artists.
Love that. I think another clue would be we are revisiting an old theme, I guess if you want to call it that, or format. So we've done a few formats on the show, you know, so we will be revisiting one of those for next time.
Nice.
Did you like that clue?
I did.
Okay. Well, I think that's all we've got for now.
I do too.
If all hearts and minds are clear, we will catch you all on the second part.
On the flip side.
Yeah. All right. We'll see y'all later.
Peace.
Bye.